Hello and welcome to Camp Xtras. There was a period in time when food mascots had their time in gaming. From the Domino's Noid to Chester Cheetah, gaming has had its crossovers, but one mascot has surprisingly more games than you'd imagine. The 7-Up Spot got 4 games in the early and mid-90s, and recently I played the very last one, Spot Goes to Hollywood, and let me give you some history along with my review. All footage was captured off of a PS2, and let's go ahead and hop into this one. The story of Spot goes all the way back to 1987, when the mascot was invented and heavily advertised. It was an anamorphic red dot with glasses, and I'm not gonna lie, he's a cool dude who brought a nice hip edge to the drink, especially in the time period. This quickly got him into the gaming world with Spot the video game, a puzzle game perfectly fit for the design of the mascot. Virgin Interactive published the game, which started a tight relationship with Virgin and 7-Up. They would release a platformer for the Game Boy in 1992, and arguably Spot's most popular game, Cool Spot, in 1993. In my eyes, being the mascot's most lasting impact. This platformer was released on both the Genesis and Super Nintendo, and continues to be called one of the best games for those consoles. It's a 2D side-scroller with fun movement and great graphics for the time. It was apparent to Virgin that they needed to make another entry. So in 1995, Spot Goes to Hollywood was released for the Sega Genesis, getting lukewarm reception at the time. And I will note that I am reviewing the PlayStation version, and it's pretty different. This version was released in North America on November 30th, 1996, and was a rehaul of that version. Still featuring Spot in a bunch of Hollywood sets, but with fresh new graphics, FMV sequences, and more modern music. The Genesis one got lukewarm reception, but maybe this update sees it come closer to a better version. I've never touched any version of this game before, but in my PlayStation collection, this one always pops out to me. A 7-Up game is just so odd, especially a sequel to Cool Spot. So I had to try it, and let me tell you how I felt about it, starting with the plot and gameplay. The plot here gets moved into the gameplay section because it's pretty much not a factor. There is a light plot, but it is of no importance. It's also extremely goofy. A bubble shows up at a movie theater, and no reason for the bubble, where it came from, or if it's magical or anything. It's just a bubble, and it's thirsty. So it goes and gets a soda from a soda machine at the movie theater, and out pops Spot. Spot then gets sucked into a projector, and goes through various sets of movies. It's funny how nonsensical this plot is. It's almost unnecessary, and I think Spot just being in movies would have made more sense than this, yet it does give it a bit of charm, especially against the FMV cutscenes. And the game itself separates itself from the rest of the series. It's an isometric game played from a slightly top-down angle. The game uses 3D graphics mixed with a 2D animation art style. You aim to take Spot and move from one end of the level to the next. You can shoot enemies, dodge out of the way, and jump around, and it's that simple. There are tokens to collect lives and bonus film slates, which you can get around the levels, which will unlock bonus levels for you. It's basic in design, which gives it a nice, simple feel. It's surprising to see how much games have evolved from the early PlayStation to later in its life. It makes this feel a bit dated on the system, especially since it has many of the Genesis game archetypes. Not that I'm going to factor that into the review. If anything, I think it's endearing that it's stuck so close to the tight formula. Unfortunately, I did find that the isometric feel mixed with its controls does lead to some issues. I think normally the controls are fine. Moving left and right works fine for dodging and aiming at enemies to get in shots. When in the flow of doing this, I think the game is fun. It's definitely tough. This game throws tons of enemies at you, and you will be dodging and shooting a lot. and it comes down to a lot of level memorization, something I don't mind here because the checkpoints can be forgiving and the level design is fun. The jumping, though, is a detriment with the isometric style. There are a ton of pinpoint accurate jumps, and though you get a little shadow, it never feels right. Jumping on small platforms with only a 3-hit health pool, one bad jump can just ruin a whole level. It happens a lot too because it's not forgiving with the jumps. You have to be right on the spot, and if you are a little off, it's over. This isn't just in the platforming sections, but in the vehicle missions too, where just being slightly near a spike can get you hurt. The look and controls, as well as the hitboxes, just don't match up, especially in the air, and it becomes a pain. There are a few great missions, like a minecart level that has you swapping tracks and doing tight jumps. This one is hard, and it's all about timing, but something about it worked, and it made it more addicting. I also enjoyed the space shooter bonus level, because not only does this have you shooting, but it also has you dodging obstacles. This is a good mix, and it's the right fit for the isometric look of the game. Generally, I'd say this game has a charm. Shooting and dodging work for the most part, and this game is only a couple hours long. Yet, this is a platformer, and when the feel of your jumps and landing feels less skill-based and more like a chance if you'll make it, that's not amazing game design. It leads to a mixed experience as far as gameplay goes, something that's fun for a bit, but also frustrating.
Cut! Try this one again, from the top. This is not working. I don't think you're made for this business.
The audio in Spot works in terms of music. I went back and listened to the Genesis soundtrack and thought it was solid. It's not great though, but here they did a great job of taking on the PlayStation CD audio and made something excellent. Each world you travel to has its own music, and it feels like a movie score. String instruments and louder drums, it feels orchestrated. It's beneficial to the theme of each world. I particularly love the adventure genre levels that have an Indiana Jones quality to them. This helps the game bring that Hollywood feeling in, and it feels nice on the console. And the sound effect work is not as solid. The creatures and shooting all have satisfying noises, but the biggest issue is Spot. Spot doesn't talk, just like in the commercials, and he sort of just yelps and makes weird noises. Now imagine that over and over, and you have this game. You'll get hit a lot, and these annoying yells are repeated over and over, and it's brutal. It's the type of game you have to turn down if you're in a particularly tough part. Otherwise, these loud, annoying noises will be grating. And I do like the visuals in this game, with an early 3D CGI feel. Those early PS1 FMV movies are always a treat, and I love seeing them. Just a great throwback and nice for the time. I like the bright colors that they bring into the levels. There's a variety in enemies and elements like that. So each level you get something new, and they are all lovingly animated in 2D. I really love the variety of looks and how they try to emulate the feel of the genre the levels are set in. I do think the levels repeat some backgrounds too much, like the pirates section, but I think overall, the look is solid here. Spot Goes to Hollywood is an odd concept to take in, with a loose and weird setup and being based on a soda mascot. Yet I think some things work well here. I like the level design and look as well as the music. The general gameplay of shooting is fun, but the jumps kill it a bit. Much like the rough sound effects, it just doesn't land correctly. The controls in the air never feel right, and that's not good with how precise you need to be. It leaves me feeling a bit mixed overall and not really wanting to recommend this one. On my PlayStation ranking list, where I rank every PS1 game that I've covered so far on the channel, this one goes in at number 2 of 3. It's a much more interesting game than Super Sponge, but Rally is far more replayable and well put together, though both are frustrating for the wrong reasons, which kinda puts them neck and neck. There is no Metacritic score for this one due to its age, but review scores seem to be average. Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it a 7, a 6, a 6.5, and an 8. All seemed somewhat positive on the game, with some finding it fun, but others really hating the controls. Spot would not get another game after this and would stop appearing in commercials as much, eventually leaving behind a strong legacy as far as Cool Spot goes. But I don't think as many people remember this entry. This one does not nearly get brought up as much, but it doesn't seem like it's overly obscure. On Backlog, 180 people have marked it as played, with an average of 2.5 out of 5. Some say it was better than expected in the reviews, but all but one of the 6 reviews are positive. Maybe Spot Goes to Hollywood has a decent legacy after all. But that does wrap it up for today. If you enjoyed this review, please leave a like. It really helps me on the algorithm. Be sure to check out my main channel, Camp Xbox, for retro Xbox content, and let me know what I should cover next. But I'll see you here next time at Camp Xtras.